Hey guys, I am excited. Today we are bringing you Chasing 80s, a new series where we hunt down all things 80s. Toys, video games, movies, TV, you name it, we have it. And today we're getting into some great toys. First up, we're gonna look at Strongheart from NECA. It is a retro-inspired action figure based on those advanced Dungeons and Dragons figures from the 80s from LJN. From there, we're going to take a look at the Masters of the Universe Origins line cartoon collection, Skeletor. This is a great figure, a great update to those classic 80s figures with lots of added articulation, accessories, and more. Then we are going to move into vintage toys. Got a couple great pickups for the collection. We will take a look at those, share those with you, and one additional surprise at the end. So stick around. We hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. All right, first up we have Strongheart, the Good Paladin. This is the NECA 7-inch figure inspired by LJN Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And on the front here, you see it's got the little bio of Strongheart, along with some of those iconic graphics from the 70s and 80s. On the back, you can see we have the other figures in the Ultimate Action Figures line. And then up here we have the other from the 50th anniversary collection. And this is, of course, Strongheart, the Good Paladin. Next up we have Warduke, Zarak, the Evil Orc Assassin, and Elkhorn, the Good Dwarf. Okay, there we go. We have Warduke. As you can see here, he's got a cloth cape and several points of articulation. Looks like we've got some feet joints, double hinged knee, the shoulders rotate, and of course this cloth cape, which I don't know if you can pick up the real glittery look of that. It really shows up well. And with all the points of articulation, he definitely moves very well. Definitely a really nice posable figure, which is a little different from the typical NECA figures, which are mostly pre-posed and maybe have 1 or 2 points of articulation. This one actually, see, does he swivel at the hip? Yep, swivels at the hip. So this is actually a really nice figure, and he does come with a few accessories. We have his sword, and we can go ahead and see, be able to get that in his hand there. He also comes with this scabbard. And he can hold that pretty well too. Very nice. In addition, he comes with this sheath that can hold both his sword and scabbard, and it looks like it might go right here. I don't know how that's going to stay. I guess like that. Not sure if that looks kind of flimsy on there. Maybe just a little higher up. Like that. So very nice. And you can, of course, close that down. So he can be in full night mode. Yeah, the armor on here is really good. It's nice and detailed. It has that metallic shine to it. Really nice texture on the chainmail, and I like how they made the knee come down just a little bit so it looks like the chainmail is folding where it comes up with that joint. So really nice sculpt on this one. I think they did a really good job. NECA did recreating the original 3/4 or 3 and, you know, that 3 3/4 scale figure, whatever those are, 3.5 inch scale figures. Really like it. I'm definitely interested and waiting on the War Duke. That's one I've really been wanting, and so that is supposed to come out this month. And so when I saw this one, which I believe is from the same release, the same wave of figures, I went ahead and picked him up and hoping to come across War Duke soon. These are available at Target. I know for sure, not sure where else carries them in person. Online, of course, Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store all have this figure. All right, next up is the Masters of the Universe Origins line. This is specifically the cartoon collection, and this is Skeletor. And they are colored based off the Funimation cartoon, so they have that color and sculpting directly from the episode. And as you can see back here, this one is from the episode Masks of Power, and I just love that art on the back of these Motu figure cards. Something obviously Masters of the Universe is really known for. And here's a couple of accessories, and of course the other figures that are in that first wave of the Motu cartoon line. All right, and just like the figures from our childhood, these do come with the mini comics. Here is He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Wizard's Vizard. And you can see here just great comic art in this. And it is packed with storyline. Of course, here we're retailing the story of the Masks of Power. And there's Man-at-Arms with that big, beautiful Magnum PI mustache. Of course, Skeletor and He-Man. And very nice. And of course, here's the figures in the cartoon collection line. And here is the figure itself. And again, with these, lots of points of articulation. Let's pan down a little bit here. Unlike the original, which are kind of stuck in the squatty format, these are articulated all over the place. So you can swing that arm, you can bend it. The head moves. We have that knee joint, ankle joints. They move at the, of course, the leg where we used to all break them, and they swivel at the hip. So the nice thing about these is they are able to stand a little taller because you can, of course, take them out of that traditional squat position. Let's see if we can get him to stand up. And there he is with that cartoon color, that big, nice solid blue and purple with that menacing skull face. Let's turn him around here. You can see on the back the cowl, or whatever you want to call his armor plate, just snaps on in the back and it does come off. One of the interesting things about these figures, these new lines of Masters of the Universe Origins, which have been out for a few years, is all the pieces are removable, so you can even take Skeletor's head off, and then they just snap right back on. That allows you to have greater range of movement. And of course, all these pieces do that. So if you wanted to take his arm apart, well, felt like that was going to break it, but there you go. The waist pops off at the waist there. You can get his loincloth off. Ah! Curse you, He-Man! Put that back on. I think this is really cool. It definitely is very much in line with the cartoon series. Really like the sculpts on these. And of course, you know, what Skeletor isn't complete without his sword and staff. See if we can get him to stand up there. Excellent. Let's move him back just a bit so you can see that figure a little better. Now, one of the other accessories that come with each of these cartoon series is they come with limited accessories that are unique to the Cartoon Origins lines. And that's to draw back to the episode that's being referenced. And here we have the masks of power that come with Skeletor. And of course, since the pieces are removable, and pop his head off there, you can actually, as you can see there, the articulation points, you can pop the mask right on. And now you can reenact the actual episode, which is very cool. And of course, there's your little... All right, first up in the vintage line is Captain Power from Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future. Released in 1987, this toy line went along with a syndicated TV series by the same name. The unique action of these toys is they featured light gun technology. So there were ships, both for the good and the bad guys, that would shoot lights at each other and they could sense them. So you would be able to play with your friends, or, you know, if you had both the good and the bad ship, you could put your figures in them and you can shoot at them and they would register when they got shot. And after so many hits, the ship would explode and eject the characters out of the cockpit and it would come apart a little bit. And so there was a lot of playability there, mixing kind of that video game aspect along with the action figures themselves. In addition, there were accessories like little charge bases where you could go to recharge your character, you know, wipe the damage off them, sort of say, that all went along with that show itself and the storyline. The other unique thing about the show, which was not only released in syndication, it was also available on VHS, is it had special sensors throughout the show that would interact with your ship. So you could play along while watching the TV show. The ship could be shot at by the show, and you could shoot at areas highlighted within the show to score points. So it was very unique. The VHS themselves are fairly difficult to find these days. They can actually go for quite a bit of money if you do find them. So they're interesting things to have. This is something from my childhood. I did have Captain Power. I also had the charge station. I had his ship and the evil villain. There were also a line of supporting characters that you could pick up, as well as some other accessories. So as you take a look at him, he's your typical, you know, 3 3/4, 4-inch figure, and we'll just kind of measure it up there so you can see he stands just about 4 inches if he is fully, you know, standing up and down without a hunch. I've got him in a little bit of a hunch because he won't stand the other way. As you can see, he falls over. He's articulated at the knees and the elbows. Originally, this figure did come with, and let's see if I can get him to stand here. Maybe. Okay, there we go. Originally did come with a little gold gun. And when I found this figure this past weekend, he did not have that. So he's incomplete, but he was inexpensive and something, you know, I really liked in my childhood, so I decided to pick it up. I did find this toy at Brothers Toys and Collectibles in Kansas City, which is an interesting shop. They've got a lot of modern retro toys, new toys, along with older IPs that have never been released, as well as a great collection of vintage figures, a handful of vintage video games, as well as half the store is vintage records and LPs and all that fun stuff. So it's a great location if you're ever in the Kansas City area. Go check them out. You will not be sorry. All right, next up is the Firefly from the M.A.S.K collection, released in 1986. Again, another toy line that was part of a cartoon series. M.A.S.K was kind of sandwiched in there between G.I. Joe and Transformers. So their vehicles, full line of vehicles and figures. Of course, the figures get their name, the show gets their name from the fact that these figures wear a mask. And they do that when they get to go into their transforming mode, and we'll take a look at that here in just a second. The Firefly, of course, is your traditional dune buggy. It's got this nice chrome engine on there. The stickers on this one could be a little better. I do know you can get repro stickers on Etsy if you ever find one of these. The wheels on here, the rubber is perfect. Really nice shape, still really elastic. One of the problems with these toys, this particular line, is that the rubber can dry out, split, and crack. And so storing these made a big difference on those. And this is complete. As I said, the stickers could be a little better, but finding these little figures, and let me take them out of here. You can see they are very tiny. I believe we're going to come in here right around 2 3/4, so smaller than Star Wars, smaller than G.I. Joe. These little guys are tiny, and as you know, with tiny toys that have a removable mask, you can bet the mask can be and will be lost. So finding these complete with the mask is always a challenge. They also had 2 different versions of masks for most figures. You can see here this one comes down quite a bit. And as we put it on the figure, it'll extend way down here. They also have shorter masks that only went to here. And basically the time of release made that difference. The earlier ones were shorter, and as they became later releases, they extended that, obviously, to try to prevent choking hazards or having these lost. So let's go ahead and put him back in his vehicle and take a look at the transforming action, and really what made these toys so fun in the 80s. Okay, so what you would do is you would flip that out, and now it's no longer a dune buggy, it is now a jet. And so the wheels turn into the engines. Let's take a look there. These were always so fun. And there's the bottom. You can see the bottom of the cage. You can see the 1986 print there, Kenner. And so these were a big fan of these toys. I was a huge fan of these toys back in the 80s. I had quite the collection, of course. Like most people, the collection disappeared, i.e. parents got rid of them at some point. I believe this also came with a missile, and of course this one does not have the missile. So this would pop open as well. Let's get it fully open there. And that reveals the gun on the inside. So there it is, fully transformed. ready to go into battle. And you can see that you can get wear on these hinges. So most people just always leave them closed because they can break off. So I just wanted to show that to you so you had a view of what those look like. Again, this is the Firefly from the Kenner M.A.S.K line circa 1986. Alrighty, last but not least, I picked this up off of eBay this week. This is the Knight Industries 2000, otherwise known as Kit from Knight Rider. This is an ERTL figure, or I guess, you know, die-cast vehicle. Same size as your typical Hot Wheels. This is sealed in package and was released in 1982. So there's the back of the card along with the copyright and all that fun stuff. It is unpunched, so I think these came from, let me look at the back. Yeah, I believe these were located in Canada. Somebody discovered a large stash of these sealed cases, so there are quite a few of these out there, so they're by no means rare or expensive. But of course, a lot of us had this car as a child, and so for me, I'm working on building the Knight Rider model from Fan Home, and I thought, hey, I might as well pick this up and add this to the collection for the display. I do not plan on opening it. Obviously, a toy that's 42 years old, I don't want to pop open, especially because it's unpunched and all that fun stuff. One of the interesting things about the Knight Rider toys at this time is they would put this Knight Rider or Knight 2000 on the back quarter panel of the vehicle, which of course was a Pontiac, which was very frustrating. Like it just broke the immersion, right? Kit never had that sticker, but I guess they really felt they needed to have that sticker on because they didn't want people to assume it was just a black Trans Am or black Firebird. And so there you go. So again, really nice to have this in there. Of course, you've got the nice little artwork of Kit and Michael Knight, aka David Hasselhoff. Again, ERTL 1982. So that is our collection pickups for this week. So let's bring these all back in here and see if we can get them displayed in a nice way. Bring back, let's see. Got to pan up here. There we go. So we'll get these all positioned. Let's bring Skeletor into the mix. And lastly, got to get Captain Planet in there. So there you go, a wide variety of scales from the 1/64 to the 2 3/4, 4-inch, 5.5-inch, all the way up to 7-inch figures. Great pickups. Really loved this week's additions to the collection. Can't wait to see what's coming up. All right, guys, there you have it. You saw the 5 new toys. Strongheart from NECA. Skeletor from the Masters of the Universe Origins cartoon collection, complete with all that Funimation colors. Just a great addition to the collection. You saw Captain Power from 1987, the M.A.S.K Firefly from 1986, and going all the way back to 1982, we have the 1/64 scale die-cast Kit from Knight Rider, straight to us from ERTL. So what did you think? Did you like this video? If so, give it a like. And of course, if you're new here, smash subscribe. We plan on doing these again and again. Let us know what you think down in the comments. Should we continue doing this series? What did you like? What other toys did these remind you of? And until the next time, have fun.